So welcome when y'all get in to another reading. Let's jump in this and see what we have to know, what we have to be aware of at this time. Let's see what we have to know, what we have to be aware of at this time. All right. So this one is for a specific group again, but it seems like your guides want you to unstick yourself because you've been asking for things to move in a way, and it's like, oh, should I do that? Look, I look at the bottom of the deck and guides is there too. But the main big thing is trying to get you all out of these stuck situations that you keep asking to get out of. So since no one else is really giving those messages, all of them are kind of pushed on me. We have why you're stuck, karmic friend, and old union. So some of you, I'm not gonna say it because if y'all are gonna be silly and not really pay attention to things, I ain't gonna worry about it. But why you're stuck, karmic friend, and old union. There could be an old friend that you are in, now listen very closely to this, in contact with. If you're not in contact with them, then this is not for you. Do not I don't care what you do. I would just make sure that my ancestors put a bop on you if you don't listen. Simple as. Because I don't know what else to do. But get the shillelagh back out, please. There could be an old karmic friend that you still talk to or still have some form of connection with that is trying to do something, or that's why you're stuck at this time, is because they are trying to pull you back in an old loop. They're getting you to think about them. They're getting you to be affected by them or their energy. Let's jump in and see what you need to know about that with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, because they got pinged. They know that you, or this isn't even someone getting pinged. They just know that you're on to better things with the Wheel of Fortune coming up right. Like you are on the up and up. You are doing what you need to do to grow, heal, evolve. You're getting into your bag again. And someone, it's like, especially if you have a dream of this individual, I will say that because that's coming through. Yeah, with the Ten of Swords, this is like a mental thing. So dreams, thoughts, um, even reoccurring actions that this friend would do. If you're experiencing that, this is that sign. Someone's upset about you being in this Wheel of Fortune energy, and they want part of it, but they can't be part of it. I took like a 4-hour nap today because I've been feeling melancholy for the past, well, really not really much now, but since since before that nap, like around 5 hours ago or so, I've been in a weird melancholy esque energy. But the dream involved a lot of my past people. So well, I mean, first of all, before I even fell asleep, I asked for my guides to show me the shadow work. They asked me um, to, you know, give these messages a shadow work. So it's important for me to remain in the energy as well, so that when I give those messages, it's coming from an already patched place rather than an open, wounded place. So in this dream, it was like about 6 of them. And mind you, the person that was in my dream, they had a meth addiction. So it was a whole weird thing where they were wanting me to give them money to fuel their meth addiction. And that's like what the whole dream was based around. And then, funnily enough, when I woke up about like 2 hours, not even an hour later, they messaged me asking for money. So I was like, you know what? I guess I don't block again anyway. But um, the dream was really weird because it involved, yeah, because that's how it all. I'm trying to remember where it started because it was like really transporting. Okay, so we were, I don't know where the fuck we were. We were somewhere walking down the street to like a pharmacy, and the pharmaceutical woman knew all the people there, and she straight up just asked I was in the group, but I also was observing the group. I really wasn't in control of my dream. I was just monitoring it, and it was so it was so bizarre because she walks out. This is like an actual like medical place, and she walks out the door and goes, "Do you want the meth?" And then one of the friends goes, well, one of the people in the dream go, I don't even know why I'm calling them friends. One of the people I used to be around says, "Yeah, but make it quick. I'm in a hurry." And they said, "What does that mean?" They said, "Keep it in powder form." So then they walk out with 2 huge Ziploc bags of that substance, and we all walked and left. And then we bump into another one of the friends. They ask, and then we go into all their apartments. And it sounds really weird because it literally went that fast. It was not even a break. But when we went into the apartments, hold on. Dude, when we went to the apartments, I remember that one of the people that I used to hang out with admitting to me at some point that they used to be a Satanist and that they knew how to do all the satanic stuff. They used to be in a cult and everything, but then they got out of it and swapped to Christianity, which is kind of the same boat, honestly. But they were in the dream, and I remember I was eating vegetables, and some of the water that the vegetables were sitting in splashed on the Satanist dude, and they got pissed off at me. And I said, "I'm just eating." So then I got zapped out of that. No, before I got zapped out of that dream, there was an old woman that looked at me and she looked pissed off. So I smiled at her and then she smiled back at me. And I just started thinking in my head, I don't know why. Um, I don't know why I had a smile at her. I just kept remembering thinking that, like, why did I have to smile at her? What the fuck was the point of that? But then I got zipped out of that dream. I went into another one where I woke up in a panic because I had to go to school. So I run out of the door in that dream and pop up in my high school in another, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even have to go to school. I literally have been graduated for years. Why do I don't need to be back in school. So I'm walking down the hallway and I'm seeing like a bunch of people. Now the kid, and they are kids in this dream, are their parents were either part of a sex group because their parents were teachers that had a sex group back in my hometown, or they were part of some form of like drug or cult group thing, right? But I seen them all. I was just walking by, and I remember I was started to run a little bit, and I was like, "Don't run, just walk and be normal. Just don't. There's not a need to run." So I just started walking. I made it to the end, um, of the school building, and everyone's like trying to get on the buses, and they're trying to push me on one of the buses, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna get on this bus. I'm fine." So I keep walking, and I'm actually the way it was laid out. My high school was right next to the bus garage, and I knew that because my dad drove the buses, but for some reason, when I walked back there, there was like a whole game festival happening. And one of the games apparently was to not get rammed by a black goat. And I can't even make it up. It was genuine satanic imagery. And here I go, just moseying along, and this goat starts to run at me. And it has a watermelon in its mouth. I don't know why the watermelon was there, but it had a watermelon in its mouth. And the director was like, don't let the goat hit you. And it came up to me, it tried to ram me. So I took the watermelon out of its mouth and pointed like behind me and said, "Go over there." And it went over there, and everyone was shocked, like, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" And I kept walking. And as I kept walking, I kept seeing more and more people from my past. the people that were just doing work on me, all these things. And then I finally actually woke up. And when I woke up, I kept hearing the term goat tamer. And I was like, oh, okay. So I throughout, I mean, you can call it demon tamer if you want, someone that like knows how to not necessarily cooperate, but knows how to coerce a demon to go into a trick spot, which is what I usually do a lot. If someone's demon's inflamed, I'll call it the fuck out, and either it goes into a spastic rampage or it gets boxed and calms down. There's only there's only options really. It's just exorcist bullshit. But anyway, that what was going on. So you could be exercising people's demons or needing to, or this, or it could be a deeper call to be an exorcist. There's not really many actual exorcists. Um, Especially, I mean, I gotta keep it real. In my entire degree of doing exorcisms, the ones that work the best are when you don't call upon Jesus unless you actually know what you're doing. Because a lot of people that worship Jesus and then they call upon Jesus to exorcise, nothing works because you're not supposed to do that. And there's a whole like thing of it. But anywho, it's something about doing the Father's work. Someone knows that you're at that brink now and they want to hop on because they think that by being close to you, they can either hop over to you, they let their demons hop over to you to give you their addictions so that they can run free, or they want you to just deal with their addictions so that they can live a better life. But we had the Page of Earth inverted, the Ace of Wands upright, the King of Swords upright, and then the Fool. There's something really about someone not having they're having a bad time. There's a lot of people having a bad time when it comes down to this old friend, and they're trying to get you stuck. They're trying to get you stuck by making bad choices. So, because they feel like they know how your mind works, or they feel like they know how to get inside your mind. With that Ten of Swords, King of Swords, it's like someone wants to, like their whole ordeal is to be a bother to you. Like they'll do spell work on you, and they want you to either message them and be like, what do you want from me, so you'll stop, or they want to message you if they have access to, and like be like, oh, do this for me, do this for me. The Three of Water inverted, but you're not being distracted. Ace of Swords inverted by that. They're not trying to. They're not going to get dealt with that. The Page of Fire. And then the King of Fire as well. There is there is a lot of willpower fighting that's going on right now in the grand scheme of things. The Magician inverted. Someone's doing a lot of like mental magic or trying to make nonsense appear to be a distracting point for you. Nine of Swords exactly to the Eight of Air. Nine of Swords to the Eight of Swords inverted. That's what they're trying to do, is get you in a distractive point or cause distractions so that you can't solve a way out of a puzzle or solve a way out of this issue. So if you still talk to this person, you need to end up blocking them. And if you're not talking to this person, then you need to do your mental work, which is your shadow work, so that you can release the bonds that you have of this individual. With the Empress upright and the Queen of Air upright, because again, it's something about you knowing how to begin to nurture things, or you know how to reset when you need to, but still wants you to be in a cycle of constantly resetting what you do. It's like, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, or I'm not going to stop doing this, and that's fine. They can do what they want, but it's about what you're going to do. Either you succumb to what they want, which means that you lose, or you don't succumb to what they want, which means you do your shadow work. Really, at the end of the day, it's that simple. It does not get any deeper than that. With the Knight of Wands inverted, the Queen of Wands upright, and the Seven of Wands upright, again, like someone just wants you to be in a halt. They want you. Oh, it's a good start. You're starting off good. You know, your wishes are coming together with the Nine of Water, the Nine of Cups, and the Page of Swords. Oh, everything's doing good. And then the Queen of Cups and Six of Swords inverted. Then everything falls apart because you stop focusing on what you need to nurture. You stop focusing on what you need to do, and then you have to go back up again from scratch one. That's all this person's trying to do in a cycle wise. So that's why you've been stuck, is because you haven't really done that work with that individual yet. With the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Swords again. That's all you have to do. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to give this exact message out, but that's really all you have to do is just do shadow work with this individual. Stop blaming them. And again, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. Blaming people for what happened in your life, constantly blaming people is a sign of narcissism. So if you're gonna constantly blame someone for what they've done and how it affects you, then you're a narcissist. You're trying to play that role. You need to stop doing that and actually work on healing so that you're not self-sabotaging. You know, Ace of Pentacles and then the Four of Swords inverted again. Because you're not resting on you need to rest on what is being given to you, which means to silence your mind and think. Well, silence your mind and be still and sit in that energy, not think, but sit still and let that energy go. Because this is time for you to banish this individual and ward yourself from them. You need to be in that energy of banishing and warding this energy, and then yeah, because that's what's causing you all this bad luck. You keep wanting to go back. You know, it's just as simple. It's really simple, but you make it hard because you won't want to come to terms with yourself. You don't want to come to terms with actuality, insanity again. Damn. So yeah, we have insanity upright, light inverted, clarity inverted, moon inverted, immortality inverted, and summer inverted. Again, someone just keeps trying to draw you back to when you first met this person. Y'all could have, made a friendship or connected in the summertime. They want to keep drawing you back to that point where everything was going crazy, where you didn't have much clarity of what was going on with them or why they were moving a certain way. You don't need to be worried about that. You need to see, when you go back and do your shadow work, remember how you were. Don't think about them. Remember how you were. What were you creating? A fire sign? A fire sun sign? Is what this is about. Someone that wasn't being vainly or deadly to you. They just weren't protective over you, is all. That was what your focus is on, is how a fire sign was just not protecting you, and you didn't know why they weren't protecting you, or at least giving you a time to move forward or a break to move forward. Again, because there was a lack of mental clarity even in that time. With Mercury and order inverted, your mind wasn't even correct in that time. There's a lot of things that you were experiencing that weren't true because your mind was not right. That's why you didn't have a victory over it. Conquest inverted. This is endings. I'm telling you with accuracy, that's why this ending happened. So go back and rethink. Go back and see what was really going on. That's why it's important to do your shadow work, so that when new events happen, you don't get sucked back into the past. Because again, necromancy and bound to, because you were bound to the past, necromancy. The things that should have been passed over or dead. We have water and warrior. This could have been a fire sign and a water sign that you were fighting against, or a water sign that reminded you about this fire sign that you were fighting. However, that's what's going on. You need to end this by the new moon so you can have your rebirth. and purify whatever happened in the springtime. So you can purify whatever you tried to start in the springtime as well. We have air sign and rebirth. In autumn, because you were talking about wanting a rebirth in the autumn time, or you've been already told about that. Because again, there's something about imbalances happening. You might not be able to sleep as much, and that's why, because you need to have forgiveness in your system. It's a poison. Did you know that that's like the easiest way for demons to slip into your body is by not forgiving people and then trying to sleep? That's how jinn get into your body extremely easily. Because you don't want to forgive something that happened, so then they go and prey on it, and then when they go prey on it, its sole target is what you haven't healed. So then they eat you alive. You stay up. You have insomnia, which isn't real. It's a mental issue. It's a and not saying mental issues aren't real, but this insomnia is really just you not allowing yourself to rest. It's a battle between you and your mind, and then you end up getting sleep paralysis, which is a demon trying to hop into your body when you're caught in your ba. When you're caught in your ba or leaving your system, so that you can explore the dream world. But then, since it's left empty, that demon can hop in. These are things you should really be knowing. But Emperor and the Page of Wands upright, you need to be seeing how you can take more control over your life in this new cycle before you move forward to it. Because again, if you just move forward in this new cycle with the same mindset, with the same, oh, this is happening, that's happening, then guess what? You're just going to fuck up your new cycle. Knight of Pentacles upright, Page of Pentacles inverted. But that's not what you're seeing. You're only seeing the slow movement, and you're not seeing why the movement's been slow. It's because you're holding yourself back to some degree. You're afraid of having something happen to you again, so you don't want to go forward and do it. But the only reason why that fear is there is because you've allowed a spot to not be full of love. Fear is the absence of divine love. If you have and are made of divine love, you should not have any fear, or you should not be stopped in any way, shape, or form. You should be able to move forward. The fact that you're not moving forward is because you're not operating out of divine love. You're not operating out of that total aspect. That's the truth. That's what people also don't want to accept, because, again, most people don't know how these things work. Most people say that they're a divine being, but they can't explain one thing of how the divine works. You know, they'll say, I don't know, it just comes to me. Well, then you don't know. And how do you know it's the divine? It could literally be any entity coming to you and telling you shit. You know what I mean? But, I mean, I know what people know what I'm saying. It's just, I should just start saying, would you agree? Instead of do you know? I mean, you get what I'm saying? I'm just going to start saying, would you agree? And then everyone that disagrees is like, okay, I know where you're at now. And that's okay. But regardless, if you don't know something, then it's not a truth. And that's just that's truth right there. But we have the Nine of Wands upright and the Seven of Swords inverted and the Four of Cups inverted. Again, there's a fear of wanting to look back and sit with this, with Four Swords inverted, Judgment inverted, because you know that you would be judging yourself in a way that you wouldn't want to be judged. But would it not be better to judge yourself now rather than when you die and then you have to go face those two angels that read you of all the things that you've done, both agreeable and disagreeable, and then you find out that your heart's extremely fucking heavy, and then you don't go anywhere because your heart's too heavy, and there you plummet. That's the whole thing. Is your heart light enough? Can you actually agree that your heart is light enough? Are you doing things for a benefit? Or are you allowing some form of angst or struggle to occur that would prevent you from operating out of a pure heart state? The Queen of Wands upright, the Knight of Swords inverted, and the Eight of Pentacles inverted. That's literally what is stopping that work. With the Ten of Swords, again, And you can tell where your heart is by the way your mind is. If you are truly connected to yourself, as most people say they are, you can tell by the way your mind is. If you're stuck in debacles of going back and forth, then your heart is not pure. Because if your heart was pure, you would simply be able to look into your heart and eradicate any form of those thoughts and have them transmuted into beneficials. That's all. It would work in an instant, but the fact that it's not working in an instant shows that there's muck and goop all up in that pure water, or what should be pure water or pyre, that's causing you to be in this back and forth. And we have the King of Wands inverted and the Queen of Cups inverted. But that's really what those two are saying is, you have a bad idea of something, which then makes you put bad fuel into it. Eight of Cups inverted, Ace of Pentacles inverted, because you're not walking away from something that you don't even want. Something that you've already turned away, you're not turning away fully from. And that's what you really have to see. It's what you really have to get down into. Are you truly being in a state of pure, conditional divine love would mean you don't have to defend yourself. Being in a state connected with the divine, being in a state of purity, would mean you would not have to defend yourself. The fact that you would have to defend yourself in any way, shape, or form would prove that you're not working in a full, whole, pure state. Because only the guilty have to defend themselves. Why do you think that even in the courts, guilty until proven innocent? Because you have to defend yourself, because they mark you guilty. If you have to defend yourself, you're not innocent. You're not guilty. You are, in fact, inciting some form of retaliation and or violence that does that. That involves that anger. That involves that strife. That's not pure. That backs up. That backs it up. Excuse me. The Eight of Wands inverted and the Wheel of Fortune inverted. That's what's going on. You're either not moving at the right time, or you're either moving too quick, or you're not moving at all, is what I mean to say. Excuse me. Whichever the case is, it's not at the right time, and it's putting you at a time of fate. You're not moving. Oh, I should do this. I should do that. When those thoughts come up and you don't want them, instead of shushing them away, be like, "Oh, I'll worry about this later." Look at it now. Feel your feelings, so that you don't have to feel them anymore. So, again, Four of Pentacles inverted. Let go, so that you're not at a halt. Chariot inverted. Justice upright. Five of Swords upright. That's how you get out of this ruckus. I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all this. It's what you got to do. If watching a reading about your ex brings up anger, you should probably go do some shadow work. If watching a video about your ex gives you sorrow, you should probably go do some shadow work. If you're watching a video and it reminds you of your ex in any way, shape, or form, you should probably go do some shadow work. Because why is something that has not said their name, shown their face, or any attribute of who they are remind you of them? Why have you clung on so tightly to who this individual is, to where if someone says a Leo or Aquarius, it instantly has to be them? That shows an unhealed aspect of yourself, because they are not the only Aquarius or only Leo or any other fucking constellation, because they're not zodiac signs or constellations. They're constellations. So why is a constellation, a group of stars, reminds you of someone? Break it down, because it's that silly. Oh, the constellation of this group of a cluster of stars reminds me of an individual. That's crazy. That's like looking up at the Big Dipper and then being upset because you remember that when you were 10 years old, you got hit with a wooden spoon. That's exactly what that's saying. That's verbatim what that's saying. I need you all to understand when you do shadow work, you can see it from these aspects and know, like, oh, this is kind of dumb for real. This is really silly. But you have to be able to be brave enough to sit through your own feelings, not feelings that someone made you feel because no one made you feel those. They don't have control over your entire brain, your whole body. You can still choose how you want to feel. Same way you can choose to talk or not talk, the same way that you can accept or refuse anything. You accepted the fact that they wanted you to feel that way, and then you played into it. That made you a victim. You can't self victimize yourself and then expect that to keep, feeding you in an abundant way. You have to back out of that cycle completely. Like, but at the end of the day, that's the healing. That's the whole technique. That's the whole point of healing is seeing what it is, you know? In the same way, in those readings that y'all watch, or even that I might give it sometimes in the past, like where I say, just because I say someone's name is Jeff doesn't mean it's about you. It could be even your first and last name, like Jeff Henderson. That doesn't mean I'm talking about you. It's just me saying those words, and it could be anyone. There's multiple people named Jeff Henderson. Look them up. Go to the obituaries and whatever, right? Same thing with everything else. Just because you say Leo in sun position or fucking Libra in the ascending or whatever does not mean that that's you. Anyone has that. Everyone can have it. It might be an aspect of you that you haven't looked into, but that doesn't mean it's you. And that's the big problem. You only will know if it's you if you're actively doing things to be in that. If you're moving away from, then it's not you. But if you're sitting in it, then it is. There's a difference. It's like just allow the water to be wet. Stop trying to define it. Stop putting objects in the water to make those objects wet as well. Just let the water be wet. Just let it be there. Just let it be there. Why fight what you cannot control nor comprehend? Just allow it to go through. That's the biggest part with feelings. You can't really comprehend feelings until you feel them. You won't really know how you're feeling until you sit there and feel it. That's the whole point of healing. It's like, oh, I have a scab on my arm. I could just cut my entire arm off because I have a little boo boo on my arm. I could just cut my whole arm off, and then what? Now you have something bigger to heal because you've made a bigger mess out of it. Same thing goes for healing these feelings. You don't feel those feelings, so you cope it up with drugs or distractions or by putting another feeling on top of it. Now you got more to work on. Now you have more to chip away with. And that's like the big issue that people have is not chipping away at it when it needs to be chipped away. With the Five of Wands inverted and the Eight of Swords inverted, you need to take control of your life. You choose how you're seeing things. You choose how you respond to things. You choose all these things. Start choosing better. If you don't like where you're at, start choosing better. Only you can change that. Death inverted, but there's like a reluctancy to, because you're not connected to yourself. You're not connected to your true power. You're not connected to who you truly are to get the proper idea. In fact, you're codependent on someone else's actions to create a new feeling for you because you're still in that bond because you still haven't took your power back. So until they stop or they do something, you can't do this other thing. Cool. You have put yourself in a situation that you were never going to escape because you're codependent on how they will act rather than you taking control and moving the way you want to. Simple, point blank. You have to. If you want out, of course. If you don't, do what you want. But Nine of Cups, that's the wish fulfillment. That's how you get to where you need to be. Three of Swords inverted. And there's not a need to be in energy of beating yourself up either. It's all about learning. It's going through that process. But we have destruction, transformation. Confidence is your key to success inverted, and be bold to make the first move. Again, you need to transform from what was destroyed. Release your anger and define yourself. You need to have confidence in making that move by yourself. Someone else is not going to hold your hand and heal because they cannot heal what they have not gone through. You want someone to do this and do that, but they didn't feel what you felt. So you have to do it yourself. That's the whole point. Nothing is yet set in stone when it comes to your freedom. Damn. Nothing is set in stone when it comes to your freedom. Because you're not giving yourself a second chance. Or you need to start giving yourself a second chance. Resilience. Find your limits. Do you truly know your limits, or are you just sitting with a barrier that you put? Again, sitting in contentment or contentment is going against what you actually want. The word con, C-O-N, anytime it's a prefix in the English language, look up what that means. You have your pros and your cons, right? So, again, like y'all look into these words y'all use for real. Y'all under the silliest fucking curse and hex, and y'all keep it living by using these words, and it don't make sense. It don't make sense to me. You don't want to be content. You want to be pro-tent. You want to be agreed upon with. Agreeing to disagree is disagreeing still. You either agree to agree or disagree to disagree. To agree to disagree means that you're confused. It means you're trying to play both sides, and it does not mean that you're being the lesser evil. You're being the biggest evil, because now you don't have to accept anything. Now you're like, oh, it's this and that's whatever. Cool. But not accepting things also means not accepting accountability. It also means not accepting all the things that you would want to accept, because you'd be going against your own rules. You'd be too flip floppy. You'd be worshiping two things, two paths at once. You're splitting yourself. But legacy, persistence. Stay persistent in this. Trust. Trust communication is key. I'm telling you. Look up. Oh my god. What were they called again? It was like the three negative. I think it was the three negative laws of my art. I posted about it before. I had a vision about it. But a positive and a positive equals a positive. A negative and a positive equals a negative. And a negative and a negative equal a positive. But looking into that with the laws of my art, it's about the scales and how they work. If you put two heavy objects on a scale, it's going to be balanced out on that heavy accent, you know. If you put two light objects on, it will be balanced in a light aspect. But if you put a light and a heavy, that's going to throw off balances. So adjustments are required. You're not close to achieving your goals because it's time to take action and look at the bigger picture. That's why, if you feel like you're stuck and nothing is moving, that's why. This is your challenge. What do you need to release? That's your challenge. What do you have to release? Oracle, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know where your mind is. I'm not even going to try and fix it. I can't. I don't even know where you got that from. All I'm going to say to that really is life is only for the living, is only for the brave. And if you exist in life to seek joy, you are not going to find it. If you are seeking happiness in life, you're not going to find it. Stop seeking it and start doing it. That's all I can tell you. The longer you sit around and wait for it to come upon, the more and more you're going to be in the opposite direction. Just stop sitting around and actually do things. That's the message, really. Like, get up and start moving. That's it. Like, that's just the truth. People don't come to that realization ever, though. I came to that realization when I was 13, when I hit depression. I'm not being content. I'm being very potent. I'm telling you exactly what's going on. I can't fix your mind. I'm not you. I've literally explained it in 5 different ways of how to get over, how to fix these things, and then you just come at with a very pessimistic comment. I'm not being what you would call content. You are being content because you're going against what the hell's going on in here. You just don't get it. So you might as well just take the advice I've given and walk with it, or stay in that shit mindset. I mean, there's nothing else that anyone else can do. I don't get it. I really don't get it because I've explained it so many times in so many ways. Don't expect anything that you're not actually doing. If your life is full of misery, it's because you are a miserable person. Simple as. If your life is full of joy, it's because you're a joyful person. Simple as. You are going to experience what you are the product of. That's all. It's as simple as that. If you're surrounded by abuse, it's because you are an abusive person. And then you say, I've never abused anyone. You've abused yourself because look at what you put yourself through. Look at all the things in life that you put yourself through. Every bit of it. From every bump that you have on you, from every scar, every time you tripped and fell, that all comes from a point of you not being careful, from you being careless, of you not being attentive. Every injury in life that you have could have been prevented if you would have just paid more attention to what's going on around you in the environment that you're in. That's all. So all those injuries that you've caused yourself, all those feelings that you felt that you didn't want to feel, they are due to you. That is your fault. You're very abusive to yourself. People are very abusive to themselves, but they don't sit down and see it. They don't ever want to sit down and accept those things. Like I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to put myself through 10 years of depression either, but I did. And then I climbed the fuck out and I got over. And I was like, I'm never going back in there. I know how I got in there. I'm not going back. You got to pay attention to these things. These are all things I learned at a very young age, super young age. I did not have what people will call a childhood. I didn't want my childlikeness to be blinded by that hood. I wanted to see. I didn't grow up. I was just too aware. I was too aware. I could see too much. I could see way too much. We have the Ace of Wands, uh, the Hermit, and the Five of Sticks. The Hermit and the Five of Sticks inverted. Again, your ideas that you have will either come in this life, the way you even gravitate towards agreeing towards an idea or disagreeing towards an idea is how much you're willing to look at it. With the Hermit and then the Five of Wands, but again, both inverted. That Five of Wands inverted is that lack of taking control. Oh, I was just having fun with my friends. Were you having fun with your friends? Or were your friends having fun and you felt like you could be involved with their fun? Was it truly fun for you in the aftermath? Because you really have to think about all these things. What the things are you doing? Are they really allowing you to sit back in a happy, reminiscent state? Or are they allowing you to stick back with angst? And again, this might be a specific individual that you have to do this with. This karmic friend. That's why this old union, whatever this is for you, that's why you're stuck, is because you're not moving past that one thing. So anything that reminds you of that one thing, i.e., Like, let's say you're married to someone, but the person that, and you got divorced, the person that you divorced reminded you of your father, and your father reminded you, or like you have other friends and other events in your life that remind you of your father. Just because you didn't heal from that one thing, or you're not looking at that one thing to transmute it, every other event that reminds you of that primary energy is going to come back and haunt you in different ways because you have not cut that cord yet. You do not cut cords with aggression or out of fear or out of I'm taking power back. No, you cut it out of I don't need this anymore. And then you seal off where that cord has ended on your side with your power when you take it back. Because you can't take your power back and have something else sucking out at it. It's not how it works. With the nine of sticks inverted, father sims upright, the six of knives inverted, and the six of coins upright. Again, this is about gambling. This is about playing your cards right. No, like I listen. We've all been dealt shitty hands of life. We all look at something and go, "I could have this better, or this could be this, or that could be that." That's cool, but you need to get out of that. That doesn't mean to eliminate it. Things suck. Things are awful sometimes. That's cool. That doesn't mean to be content with it and to try and fight against it. Just know that, you know what, this isn't for me. Let me change myself. Maybe it's your job. Oh, I don't want to work here, but I want to keep this profession. Work somewhere else. Learn how to do it yourself. The issue is that you aren't meant to be in that position. You're not supposed to be in that place. So do it in a different way with your same energy. That doesn't mean change up your whole style. It just means do it in a way that resonates more with you. That's all. That's the biggest part about healing that a lot of people overlook is like you're doing something because it seems easier, but in actuality it's harder because then you are like, oh, I wouldn't do this way, or I don't like this and I don't like that. Well, then why aren't you doing it on your own? It's the whole point, like, oh, doing group projects in school and stuff, and no one else is doing the work except for you. The project turns out the way that you want it, but you're so focused on you being the only person doing the work that you get mad at the other people. But then you get a good grade. So you're mad at yourself for getting a good grade. What does that tell your brain? Don't ever do good again. I hate when you do good. That's what it tells your brain. Then you remember it. And then you don't go out and do your own things because you keep remembering back to that past event. Again, these are all things that you need to be aware of and be not absent minded of. It's the true healing journey. It's literally how you have to look at these things. You have to see them for what they are, not what you've made them. Someone can hand you a brick of clay, and then you turn that brick of clay into a ball. Though it's still clay, you have changed the entire shape, the entire demeanor of it. It's still clay, but you have taken it and you have changed it. That's all that healing asks you. What did you turn this into? What did you make it of? What did you make of it? A glass could fall on the floor and shatter into a million pieces. What did you make of those of it? Did you scream and cry and blow up or get mad? Did you clean it up? What did you do? It's not asking you, telling you that you did something bad. It's just, what did you do? How does it look now? Do you enjoy this? It's very, very simple questions, but they hold weight because it's asking you, genuinely you, for how you are experiencing it. And that's all that God is doing, the God inside of you that resides inside of you, is asking whenever you have to do this shadow work. How do you feel about this? Do you enjoy the way this is fixed? How this is? It's not asking, oh, do you want to change it? It's just, do you like this? If you say no, why not? Because X, Y, Z. And then you take those points, the X, Y, Z's, and whatever you want to say for those, and then you move forward so that you can see, oh, this is what I really wanted, or that's what I really wanted. With the six of baskets upright, the seven of coins inverted, and the three of baskets inverted, again, this is all you have to focus on. See what's taking from you. See what was not part of the plan. See what was created that goes against the natural flow of things. That's all your ancestors want you to do. That's all that you, the internal you, wants yourself to do. That's all. But you have to be able to be in a state to do so. Hold on. Where is that? Where is? I literally put it on the bed and I lost it again. That's so cool and funny. Anyway, I'm gonna get your angels, and then we are done. So we have change and transition, Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Azrael, for leading me safely through this change. Clear your vibes, Archangel Metatron. Thank you, Metatron, for clearing my energy field. Spiritual gifts, Archangel Raziel. Thank you, Raziel, for helping me channel my gifts and talents. Loved one in heaven. Thank you, loved one in heaven, for drawing close to this time. Nature, miracle of nature. Thank you, angels, for helping me to get connect to nature and fresh air. Open your heart, Archangel Shamuel. Thank you, Shamuel, for moving my barriers around my heart. Signs from heaven, thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. Shine your light, Archangel Uriel. Thank you, Uriel, for helping me share my light with the world. Manifesting miracles, Archangel Orion. Thank you, Orion, for manifesting your miracles in my world. And unconditional love, the Divine Mother. Thank you, Divine Mother, for helping me give and receive the love I desire. And then we're going to get the angels of the day. It's day for some people. I'm about to go to bed after this. I've been asleep almost all day. I'm not even tired, honestly. But we have IL. Knowledge of mysteries will come easily. Positive change is on the horizon. We have Malachi. Do your best to write, to do some writing. If you're not a writer, record your thoughts and ideas. ILL. Excuse me. God dang, I can't even speak. Business, finances, and career should be your focus today. You may plan a trip without fear. And last but not least, Kal-El, innocence is all around you. This is not the time for confirmation or confrontations, but for truthful revelations. Regardless, that is y'all's reading. Thank you all so much for being here. If you like, comment, share, subscribe, donations for the energetic or financial. If you want to be part of the healing classes or tarot classes, email me and I'll get to you. Um, but everything's in the description. The Dr. Malachi's workbooks, my website, my email, and the donation links. But thank you all so much for being here. Peace in the land has been truly wonderful.